Hi, beautiful. I wish I could see you. Are you wearing your Scott School shirt? I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my phone. Oh, you're so sweet. I'll be right back.
Where's my coffee? Oh no, this is not.
Woo! Ah. All right, let's see. Is Jasmine a sit in the back or a sit in the front? Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you, Brad. Thank you. It's good. It's good. Guys, if you want, you got all day to sign in. Thanks for choosing the front seat, Sarah. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, thanks. Just a little bit of the agenda for today. I'm going to talk for, honestly, maybe 20 minutes, and then you'll be on your way. You'll either have some rotations in the morning or some professional development in the afternoon, and you'll swap. I'm going to show you before we leave this morning some things that you're going to need to get accomplished tomorrow, and so you'll have some time today to start getting on to work on those as well. I think some of you have probably been working on some of it. So I'm hoping it's not too much. But I want to start out by saying yesterday, I left yesterday on cloud nine because I was glad to be back with you guys. I know that sounds corny, but I mean it. Everything that Scott is known for, everything that makes Scott a great place to work for me, I won't speak for you, but for me, I saw yesterday, and I felt it, and I appreciate it. Last night, though, I had a conversation with someone, and I started reflecting, like I've told you guys to do, but generally I don't need to do it. No, I'm just kidding. I do, and I borderline perseverate. There's a few of us in that club. And so by the time I got home and my kids were in bed, I started that perseveration process. And I started to talk to someone, not my wife, but I talked to someone, and I started thinking, and I know you know this, there's a lot going on in the world. And yesterday, I can't find my real mask. This one keeps scooting down, and I'm sorry. Please try to keep it up over my nose. But guys, I thought about the day, and then I thought, you know what? I spent a lot of time, not a lot of time, but some time yesterday talking about your physical safety. I talked about the emotional aspects of your physical safety and how I was taking it seriously and how I think I understood, and we're all in different places, and we all have different risks. But I don't know that I talked about your emotional safety related to your life. And so I started writing down all that's going on in the world, and I kind of did my normal routine. And my normal routine is once my kids go to bed, and I'm not proud of this, I go to my phone and I do all the mindless things that somebody does when they just want to get their mind off the day. Well, as you know, even if you go to TikTok, which now that's my new one, you can't get away with things that concern you. And so I literally started making a list of things that are wearing us down. You know, another black man was shot in Kenosha. I know you know that. You know, obviously I'm a white guy, so I can turn it on or turn it off. I can walk into a store and I don't have to worry about being anything but Hugh Boger. You know, not everybody can do that. And you see the athletes now. I never mocked Colin Kaepernick, but I didn't put much thought into it. I just kind of whatever. And now I see, you know, WNBA is stopped, the NBA is stopped, and the baseball teams, and you know, we had some folks that were active in the Black Lives Matter movement. Some of us went to some of the rallies, and it just hit me maybe within the last 2 days. I've been carrying that burden around, but watching another man get shot in the back was horrific. And so that's on our minds, some more than others. And that's a lot. You know, that's on top of the pandemic. And when you think about the pandemic, yesterday morning, I implied that all we really have to worry about is catching it or not. That's really all we have to worry about, but it's greater than that, right? You got maybe some of your loved ones have lost jobs. Some of you are here and your kids at home learning. Maybe your spouse is at home, maybe at daycare, whatever. Not whatever, as in I don't mean that flippantly, but there's a lot of scenarios that cause stress. You know, we got, I actually made a list because I didn't want to forget a few, and I'm not going to read it verbatim. I was afraid I'd forget. You know, there's kids at home that need school. They need school to grow and learn, regardless of reading and math. And I worry that we can't provide that. And I know you care about the kids, and I know that's weighing heavy on you as well. So you got the, you know, the horrific shooting again, and that weighing heavy on us. And then we have the pandemic, and I don't mean that like that's a hierarchy. And you have the kids we're trying to serve. You got your kids at home, and you got all those things. And I think, man, that's on top of the physical safety. I want to acknowledge in front of you that I promised you this last year, for those that weren't here, that I'm going to work really hard to see you. And to see you for who you are, besides just a teacher. To see you as a mom, an aunt, brother, sister, parent, daughter, son. I'm going to try to do that. And Effie and I had something that we were talking about doing this morning. We canceled it about 2 weeks ago because we thought maybe it would just take up too much time. But the concept was to see you, to know you, and to grow you. And I don't mean grow you like I'm your teacher. I mean grow you as in everybody has a right to grow and be who they want to be, and I want to support that. So one of the outcomes today, again, those are the two that the coaches created, and I did too. But the one that I thought of today is at the end of the day today, I want us to be able to better see our students, and we want to be able to see our colleagues and know what they're going through. And know that we're there together, and know that when they pop off at you, or when you're especially crabby, what an influence that might have on somebody that's already carrying around the weight of their world. They just don't have to worry about the teacher video. Worried about things and where we're going as a country and where we're going as a civilization and you know, when's the end going to come, you know, to some of the things we're going through. There's a lot we're all carrying around. By the end of the day, I hope we'll be able to see each other. I want to share a couple things. I'm being 100%, well, I'll get to this in a minute, but maybe you've seen this before, maybe you haven't. But the concept here is that there's three circles that we all have. In the middle, things that you can easily influence. Well, easy is a bad choice of words. In fact, strike that from the right. It's not easy. But there are things that you control. Excuse me, you influence. I'm screwing that up. The things in the center are the things you can control, right? You can control your attitude, but I'd argue it's still not easy, but you control it. Out from that is the circle of influence. I can influence you know, the unrest and the Black Lives Matter movement and issues of equity. I can influence it by being an ally, and I can be anti-racist. But I can't control it. I can influence the pandemic by making sure that we have things in place for each and every one of us, and make sure my kids and my family are taken care of. But then there's things in our circle of concern that you don't have any influence on, and you don't have any control on. And these things aren't balanced. They never are balanced. That's the concept that we think about. And so there are some times that you're walking around and you're, what's that corny song? I'm walking on sunshine, woo! That's when everything in your circle of control is around you and everything's good. But I would argue right now, there's a heck of a lot in our circle of concern that we feel like we can't influence, and there's no way in hell we can control. Excuse that. You can't control it. Can't take back that word. But my point is, think of what the things that I talked about this morning, and our students who are economically disadvantaged, and our students that have needs that maybe we can't meet this year, and we're stressed about that. Our circle of control, look around the room, me too, is way in disproportion right now. And there's things you can do, things that I can do, to cause my circle of control to be just a little bit smaller. Stop watching the video on Kenosha. Because the more I watch it, the more this circle grows. Stop worrying about whether I'm going to see my dad alive again. I can't control it. Stop worrying about it. Doesn't mean forget about it. I'm still going to look at, I'm still going to follow the blogs I follow. I'm still going to try to be politically active. I'm still going to get down to see my dad. But the more I consider it in something I can't control, whether I think that and articulate that or not, is going to wear me out, emotionally and physically. And so I said all that to say a couple things before I kind of move on. Our circle of controls are big today, and they're going to be big this year, and who knows how long they're going to be big. Our country's at a place where, you know, I fear, and this is being cup half empty, that we're at a make it or break it. And it's time. The time is now, as Denzel Washington said in the great debate. The time is now, but I worry. I said all that to say, be cognizant of each one of these three. Know what you can influence and what you can control. And I want to tell you a couple things that just like yesterday, it's very easy for you to see the max occupancy. It's very easy for you to see the chairs that are 6 feet apart and we're all masked. Those are easy. But you can't see one thing that we're doing, not I, Hugh Boger doesn't have the power to do that, maybe not even the knowledge. We can't see anything that we're doing for each other emotionally because our circle of control is out of whack with our circle of concern. You can't see anything, so it's that funk, you fear of not knowing. I don't know if anybody's taking care of me. I don't know if anybody cares about what I'm carrying around. I want to legitimately, and you think I'm not being funny, but I want to tell you there's a few things that are in place that are right in our face. One of them is the Employee Assistance Program. Now, when I just said that, you probably think, whoa, that's for somebody who loses it. somebody that has a nervous breakdown. And I'm not making light of that by any means. It's not for that. It's for somebody whose circle of concern is growing to a point where it's causing you to maybe difficulty doing the things that you do for fun and taking care of your family. When that's the case, I challenge you to call the Employee Assistance Program. You get three counseling sessions free. That fast. You call, it's a Northwestern number. You call them, they say, yeah, we'll call you back. 24 hours later, they call you and say, here's 3 people within 5 miles of you. You can set up an appointment, and it's 3 sessions. And if after those 3 sessions, they say, you know what, you still have some things you need to talk about, they extend it for 3 more sessions on our district's dime. It's not even on your insurance. It doesn't count on your deductible. So that's basically 6 sessions to talk to somebody and say, how do I get these 2 things in balance? You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, your aunt, your uncle, and each other. Forget the stigmatism of that. I know the Employee Assistance Program, and I know how good it can be. Forget the stigma, I'm telling you that. I'll say another thing that'll help you, and I make fun of this a lot, but I gave all the new teachers, this is my favorite book. I bought, 20 of them. Guy's kind of a smart aleck, a lot of cussing in the book, but it's a guy that had a nervous breakdown on TV, national news, blah, blah, blah. And so he starts to meditate. And this book is like, I like the guy because when I think of somebody that meditates, I think of, somebody who lives in Northern California that, grows a garden, eats a lot of peaches, and lives in a commune where and smells bad. This guy's the opposite end of that. He's your uptight CEO type. But he says, man, my mind gets out of control. When my mind gets out of control, I'm a mess, physically and emotionally. And so he says through meditation, and he uses that word lightly. He doesn't mean sit down in lotus style and breathe through your nose. He's talking about realize when your mind is out of control. And then start thinking about things you can influence and control and be present and simplify. So I got an extra copy. I miscalculated. He says it makes you 10% happier. He doesn't claim that it's going to change anything, but I can tell you, I ask you to be aware, because that's what meditation is basically, when things are out of whack, and think about what you can control and influence, and think about the things that concern you, and make sure you try to balance those. 10% Happier by Dan Harris. He's got a great app as well. He's a funny guy. Just grab the book, honestly. Again, he's like, he goes to this 10-day meditation, and where for 10 days you can't talk, and he's like joking about the person next to him snoring, and it's funny. But the gist of it is good, is people like me and you need to realize my mind's going out of control. I'm sweating tomorrow about something I do it all the time. I think tomorrow my boss is going to stop by. I'm worried that somebody's going to stop by, and they're going to realize that 2 chairs are within 4 feet, and they're going to say, I don't care about COVID. That's what I was thinking about last night, and I realized, shoot, what are you doing? You're painting a picture that's not going to happen. Forget it. And so anyway, now I'm got a televangelist going here. Gotta get it in. Sorry, but I can tell you, my life. What's the famous Langston Hughes poem? Mother to Son. Life for me ain't been no crystal staircase. What is it? Yes. And so I'm not saying mine's been tougher than yours or not. I never talk like that. I'm sure it hasn't been. But my point is, we've all been through things. And I still got a long way to go, but that has helped me. And it's what I practice. Most people work out, physically. I think that's overrated. But physically, emotionally, I don't. Okay. Guys, I care about you. I see you. Sometimes you have to remind me to see you. Somebody reminded me last night. Make sure you're seeing the people. And I'm glad she did. But let's see each other. And let's make it visible, the supports we have in place for each other's emotions. All right, I'm jumping subjects on you for a second. I still got 15 minutes left? I said 20 minutes. You don't care about me, that's the problem. You don't know that I need this. I'm going to show you a PowerPoint slide. We're changing subjects a little bit. But think of this, see me, know me, grow me. Today, some of you are going to get to see your kids. You're going to call some of your kids maybe tomorrow. I challenge you to get to know them a little bit better. Has anybody seen this book before? I have the book in my office. It was written by an assistant principal in a small town in Kentucky. And you can't find it anymore. It's like out of print. Like I could sell it on eBay for 10 grand and retire, but I'm not gonna because I want to show you guys. This is a great book, borrow it. It's not a read aloud. Don't read it to your kids by any means, but it'll help you. I want to show you a narrated PowerPoint, and then I'll send to you on your way. Hope the volume works. You guys can hear that loud and clear? You know what, it just dawned on me, I'm sorry, I'm not prepared. Because it's, I know the volume worked, I tested the volume. Here's what I didn't test though. I didn't test that when it's a PowerPoint on your desktop. So here's what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start again, and I think it goes slow enough that you can read it. Level W's, a couple level D's. Okay. So do me a favor, just read it. It'll take you 2 minutes. And so what I'll say is that your kids don't need you to feel sorry for them. In fact, I guess I would argue that's counterproductive. I think there's a lot of literature that says it is counterproductive. Some will say it contributes to the achievement gap and the opportunity gap. None of your students in your room need you to feel sorry for them. When you find yourself doing that, stop. I would argue that if you see them, and that if you know them, you'll be able to grow them. It's changing a little bit, but in the past, we only focused on the third one. That's why we get a new math curriculum. That's why we have, additional support and interventionists, and that's why we use MTSS, because that's what we're focused on, is growing them. Look at the data's got to grow. What I would say is to prepare this year, and I'm not talking about students that are economically disadvantaged, I'm talking about every kid in your class. You got to see them and know them if you're going to grow. Be intentional about that. Effie and I are going to try to make it intentional this year. And I hope you'll see me and know me and grow me, and I'm going to do the same to you. We're going to try. So I know that's a little bit of a Debbie Downer. We were going to do this anyway, so it's probably more of a Debbie Downer because of the way I started. I hope you see that cup half full and it's not a downer. But today is your first opportunity to see that child and know that child. And let me know if I can help you do that. Sorry there wasn't volume. I checked the volume, but obviously not very well. All right, all I'm going to say is this is probably the agenda for tomorrow. What I promise you is almost the entire day you're going to have on your own. Not to do whatever you want. There's going to be some of that, but some things that you'll need to accomplish. We gave you some examples. Actually, one of these examples surely it's from 1982, because she's like, welcome to my class. If you talk 3 times, you go to the office. So don't look at the content of that one. But if you Google welcome teacher videos, you'll be overwhelmed. And you'll see some that are really basic. The expectation is you just put a little short video like you do, when you're seeing a kid ride a bike for the first time, or you're taking a picture. It's very simple. Work on your communication to your parents. On the 31st, around noon, you need to send something out to your family so they know what to do the next day and what their schedule is. Make sure your Canvas site is up and running by the end of the day on Monday. And then you don't need to worry about this too much, because we chose at the end that we weren't going to be able to spend a ton of time on it. But make sure, above everything else, give me just 1 second. Don't let me forget, I'll keep pointing at you until I won't forget it, because I'm get tired of like 10 seconds. Notice we didn't say you got time to plan math or reading. Yeah, that's important. But what's important right away is that you see them and know them. And that'll happen in your class meetings. It'll happen all day. So really, if you have extra time, think about how you're going to plan those morning meetings, and at the beginning, at the end. And is that today, Diana and Anna, that you'll get some of that? Stacy? Thanks, Stacy. All right, I don't know off the top of my head, maybe someone does. Are we back in here at a certain time? Oh, yeah, good call. Yep. Don't show them the internal one. No, we changed that.
You know what we're going to do? The Scott School Staff Side.
Oh, somebody sent me that link. When do we have one of those?
If it's not, there it is.
Wait, don't go through my bookmarks for the love of Pete. I was young back in '88. That's left over from when I'm done in '88.
Okay, so what I wanted to do is your agenda looks a little bit different. You've got primary has an agenda and intermediate has an agenda. But here's them side by side. Okay, so primary, you are going to start with some kind of self-paced rotation. You've got your connection opportunity planned, and obviously you saw that schedule, so it's different, so you're not all doing it at the same time. You've got time for the district health and safety module, which is self-paced, and that is linked on the slide deck. It's also linked to your agenda. You've got time to do your student item prep, and then your lunch, that's basically all until 11:30. So our lunches are at different times today. During your afternoon, you have your presentation with Diana and Anna, which is on Zoom, from 12:30 to 2. Then you've got 45 minutes at the end of the day. We wanted to build in some time for you to follow up from tech yesterday. We were feeling like maybe some time to get some practice of some things, or you can meet with me. You can schedule a time with Nazim. We kind of decided, Nazim and I last night, that we might split. If you want to work on some Canvas things, shoot her an email, and you guys can Zoom, or you can FaceTime, or you can whatever, to meet with her. If you want to work on Zoom or something miscellaneous, come see me. Rather than splitting up the grade levels, we thought that might be easier. That's also a time where you can look at one of the recorded breakouts that are now linked to the staff school site. I will continue to shamelessly plug this site. Or you can, I think that's it. Yes. So intermediate, same thing, just completely flipped. You are going to start with your virtual classroom management and class meeting PD with Diana and Anna as soon as we get out of here, but that's on Zoom. And then you have that time afterwards to touch base with an LSC or go tech follow-up. You guys will have a little bit earlier lunch after that's over, and then we'll switch in the afternoon. We will be back in here at 2:45 just for a quick closure. But from now until 2:45, we're kind of spread out. But I will be in my new fancy office, aka the conference room, if you need me, or text me, or stay with me. Questions on the agenda? Okay.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah, that's on the slide decks, and it's on the agenda. I pulled up the wrong agenda. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Say hi, Sarah. Hey.
I just texted you.
Okay.
Stephanie and I were wondering if you would come to my room anytime between 2 and 45